Hello everyone, it's Mike at the Wave Chronicle and MPD Sports. What I'm going to look to get into today is about the drama queens of Boston, the infamous Boston Red Sox. Again, Dennis Eckersley pissed off a bunch of the Boston Red Sox players because he had the audacity to actually tell them some of the truth. Now, I'll be honest with you, Dennis Eckersley hasn't said, honestly, as much as he should have about the team. I would actually have my complaint about Eckersley and the rest of the Boston sports media who actually covers the Red Sox, that they're nowhere near hot enough. So let's take a look at this. First thing we're going to take a look at is David Price, this drama queen, who I still cannot believe when you look at this guy's contract. $30 million a year, and it goes out at $32 million in 2022. Hopefully, this guy opts out of his contract, because this has to be, next to Kyle Crawford, one of the worst contracts in Red Sox history that I have ever seen with my own eyes. This guy really needs to opt out of his contract so he can go ruin another team, or go play for a team who has no sports fans. And then he doesn't have to worry about it. He can just be the basic mediocre pitcher that he is. So when you look at David Price's stats, here's a guy that's making $30 million and more going forward, and his ERA is almost 4. And it's almost been 4 for the past 2 years. I mean, it's atrocious, this guy. And he's complaining about Dennis Eckersley, who's a Hall of Famer, who didn't get to that ERA until 20-something years after, in 1997 and 1998. This is actually, what I'm showing you here is actually Dennis Eckersley's baseball reference stats for all these years. And I know some of these years he was a relief pitcher. So you have to take some of that in mind. But I mean, if you look at some of the ERAs, I mean, obviously there were some issues as you got older. But David Price, when you go backwards, a little too far there, only since 2008. He's only been playing for 8 years, roughly. Then you compare him to Chris Sales, who's only 2 years junior. I mean, look at Chris Sales' ERA. Just so I can show you the full page here. Under Chris Sale, I mean, he only had these high ERAs, which is in the low 3s, when he played for those horrible Chicago White Sox teams in 2015 and 2016. And then you take a look at, when you look over this stuff, and then you look at where they are in the standings. Now, this is the overall standings that I pulled up from, this should be ESPN, and it is. Now, when you look over, this is as of today, these standings. And if you look down on this, the Red Sox are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th best team in the MLB, in Major League Baseball. Then the Yankees are right on their heels. I mean, Houston Astros is better than them in the American League. Cleveland is slightly better, not by much. I mean, and then you look at the other end of this. It wouldn't be bad, but the AL East is not a great division this year. And I said that when I put on my initial article, that this is not a great division. I mean, let's be honest. It's not the West. And it's barely the Central. The American League is not that great of a league this year. The Yankees are starting to come up a little bit. That's not a bad team. Still think they have starting pitching issues. And Tampa's going to fail. I don't think Tampa's going to get there either. So it's basically the Red Sox, who have pretty much had nothing but positive press this entire year, which I can't figure out why, but they have. Because they're in first place in a division where, honestly, for their team salary, they should be in first place. And considering that you have the best pitcher in all of Major League Baseball right now in Chris Sales, a 2.37 ERA, he is totally and utterly carrying the Red Sox. And they're complaining about a Hall of Famer who had the audacity here to call them out that they're not playing that well. And he's right. And I wish more people in Boston sports media would start putting this out. Now, the other end of this, when I come back around and look at some of the other stats, now this one is sorted by RBIs. We're going to go back to his, because I pick on David Price all the time because of his high salary, and he annoys me because he should be the number one pitcher. And he should be pitching like Chris Sale is right now. So that's why I get highly annoyed when David Price does anything. So he's not the main problem, though. I mean, he's a very major problem. But it's the rest of the Red Sox team, these drama queens that are in Boston now. You look at the RBI ranking, right? The Red Sox are ranked 14th. And I keep going back to this RBI stat because these are the teams that are going to be winning. The winning teams can hit a baseball with players on base. And the bottom line is there are 13 more teams who do that better than the Red Sox. And if you look at it, if I was to actually pull up, which I wish I had, I didn't pull up how much money each of these teams has spent. I can guarantee you the Red Sox has probably outspent almost all of these teams as far as for salary. The majority of them, if not all of them. It's embarrassing. That is a totally embarrassing stat that never should have happened. And this is another stat that I did basically by home runs. And the Red Sox on this list, it's even worse. By home runs, the Boston Red Sox are ranked 27th in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, you can't get hits while people are on base. You can't hit home runs. This is a problem going forward. And then you wonder why, when you look at this regular season, you can see why the Yankees are catching up and Tampa Bay is catching up. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And a lot of this I blame on Red Sox management. They have a village idiot for a manager who never should have been picked in the first place. Never liked John Farrell. Can't stand him being the manager. But I honestly don't know of anyone who's better. I can't think of a name. And I've honestly tried to come up with a name that would be better than him managing. I just haven't been able to find it. And it's just a shame that that village idiot is running this high-priced team. And then you have the GM, who should have been better than this. He should have done a better job. He should have handled this situation and never have let this situation, these drama queens, do what they've done to this damn team. And then the owner, of course, I'm telling you that John Henry is getting old, he's getting feeble, and he's not intelligent enough to be the person running this ball club right now. And that is something that people, the managing partners, should start to take a look at, because I don't think he's capable of being the full-time owner of this team anymore. He's not intelligent enough, he's not aware enough, and there's no reason that this team should be exactly as it is now. Sit there in a plane and give mouth to a guy who's a Hall of Famer, when the main player who did it is you're paying $30-some-odd million who's not performing. And then he's backed up by a hitting squad who's near the end of home runs, who's in the middle of the pack of RBIs, and they need to do a better job, and Boston media should be telling them that. All right, folks. Mike, Wave Chronicle, MPD Sports. That's my view on this Red Sox team, basically the queens of Boston. So hopefully the situation will get better. Although I don't be shocked that this team totally chokes it out at the end, because they all become drama queens and they all just can't take all the stress that's in Boston. I mean, the poor crybabies. All right, folks. Mike, again, Wave Chronicle, MPD Sports. Take care, be well, stay out of trouble. Bye now.